Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Texas Business Court Insider. My name is Rachel Roosth. I'm a partner in Norton Rose Fulbright's Commercial and Energy Disputes Group in Houston, Texas. And today, my colleague Jordan Long is here as a special guest to tell us about his experiences working at the Texas Business Court. So, Jordan, welcome. Can you tell us a bit about your professional background?
Of course, Rachel, very happy to join you here today. Thanks for having me on the Texas Business Court Insider. So I graduated from law school at UT in 2022. After that, I did a one-year term clerkship with Judge Jeff Brown in the Southern District of Texas, Galveston Division. Following the clerkship, I worked in Norton Rose Fulbright's Houston office as a member of the Energy and Infrastructure Disputes team. And I just wrapped up working as a staff attorney for the Texas Business Court Division 4B with Judge Stacey Sharp in San Antonio, and have recently rejoined Norton Rose Fulbright as a member of the Commercial and Energy Disputes Group.
Well, Jordan, we're happy to have you back. I love that you have all these different perspectives, and I wanted to know, having worked at both the Texas Business Court and the Southern District of Texas, how did your experiences compare at those two courts?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say one big similarity for sure is that the business court and the federal district courts certainly really prize excellence and sophisticated handling of commercial disputes. And I would say also that both business court and federal district courts are interested in, especially interested in high quality briefing that will be digested in chambers and reviewed in advance of any oral hearing. Judges aren't going in blind in either scenario in either court. Differences, one big difference certainly would be that I would say in the business court, there is a lot of collaboration between chambers. The business court has leaned really strongly into the one court approach. So it's not unusual to share drafts, orders, discuss cases amongst divisions between chambers. Whereas I would say most federal district courts, in my experience, tend to be a little more siloed. They sort of operate more like their own independent law firms. And it's not my experience in the business court. It's very, very collaborative. Also, I would say that, the business court, we were trotting new ground a lot, right? We were having to interpret new statutes, new rules. Whereas in federal court, you have sort of a strong corpus of doctrines for things like removal and remand that you can rely on when you're working through some of those knottier legal questions. And also I would say the business court's case management structure, with having a smaller number of cases, allows judges to be more hands-on in case management and really kind of actively push cases through their dockets.
Right. Jordan, I'm curious, in the business court, were there any common missteps that you saw from practitioners?
So I would say the business court, each division of the business court has a website. Many of those websites have their own proposed forms on the website. And so I would strongly recommend that practitioners that are showing up in a case, make sure that they are using those forms, not overlooking those forms. And even if your division that you're in on a given case doesn't have a proposed form, another might, and that's a good place to start off in. I would say also protective orders need to comply with Rule 76A, and that federal protective orders that may be downloaded from a magistrate judge's website are just not going to often satisfy the Rule 76A formalities. And the business court, we all know this, but has local rules, and those local rules need to be read, studied, and practitioners should be familiar with them. I would say 3 local rules in particular that parties need to make sure that they are complying with are Local Rule 4D, which establishes specific, detailed prerequisites to most discovery disputes, most discovery motions. That's one that needs to be studied. It has a lot of different elements to it that practitioners should be aware of. Also, Local Rule 5F regarding certificates of conference. The business court is trying to ensure that parties are conferring before they bring disputes to the court. And so local rule 5F is being enforced. And also local rule 9A, parties are really encouraged to draft their pleadings and their briefs that they file with the court in such a way that confidential information is not exposed. Help with some of this Rule 76 sealing issues that we often encounter. So those are 3 local rules that I would say practitioners should be aware of, and not being fully up to speed can be a misstep that I saw.
So that's a good point on the local rules. I do want to point out for our viewers that the Texas Business Court recently changed its local rules, which became effective January 15th, 2026. And there are 3 new local rules, essentially. They address sealing court records, remote proceedings, and amicus briefs. So if that's something that our viewers want to learn more about, you and I have actually drafted an article on the revised rules. So viewers, you can review that on the Texas Business Court Insider Hub. So Jordan, other than the local rules, do you have any advice to lawyers who are appearing in the business court?
Yeah, I would say that litigants that are appearing should know that when they come in the business court, they should know their case pretty thoroughly, and be prepared to move pretty quickly. The court, I think, is taking its mandate to efficiently address complex commercial disputes really seriously, and judges are taking on a more active case management role than practitioners might be familiar with. We have seen divisions using the joint advisory on really legal issues in conjunction with Rule 166, 166G, to isolate and identify, and early in the case's life cycle, legal issues that can be resolved. And the court is not necessarily waiting for practitioners to file their motions for summary judgment later in the case to kind of tee those up. The court is doing it itself through the joint advisory and other avenues. And your parties should expect to brief those issues early, know your legal issues early, and know that they may knock the case out or be decided in the case very early on. And also, I would just say that litigants should know that the court is holding parties to deadlines and encouraging resolution speedily, and the court really is just valuing efficiency and taking that very seriously.
Yeah, I think that all makes sense. That's consistent with a lot of the issues we've been talking about with the business court. And it's good to see the efficiency and attention to detail from the Texas Business Court. Now, Jordan, I want to switch gears a little bit. I'm not sure if we have any law students watching this video, but while we have you, what advice would you have for any law student who may be interested in doing a clerkship for the Texas Business Court?
Yeah, so first I would say that, federal clerkship hiring often happens on a predetermined timeline. And the business court, not every judge will be following that specific deadline. So don't just assume that the schedule will be the same in terms of when you apply and when you might hear back. Judges may be following their own timelines. And so if you are interested in clerking, I would reach out to judges that you're interested in clerking for, and kind of just seeing what opportunities currently exist or may exist in the near future. I would say familiarize yourself with your judge, with their opinions, with their writing style, their analytical approach. Those things will certainly set you apart. Come prepared with a strong writing sample, one that can show off, your skills of legal reasoning for sure, because in the business court, the bread and butter of what you're working on is writing memos and essentially first drafts of orders and opinions. And so strong writing skills are key. And then also just highlight experiences where you have been able to succeed and thrive in, demanding and fast-paced environments.
That's all great advice. So, Jordan, now that you are back at the law firm, you're looking at the business court from a different perspective, what are you expecting or hoping to see in the years ahead for the business court?
Well, one thing I would say is that the divisions are going to keep building out their physical infrastructure, courthouse spaces, courtroom spaces, hearing spaces. For instance, here in San Antonio, the Division 4 is very close to finishing its brand new state-of-the-art hearing room, which is going to be beautiful and is going to really facilitate easy access for litigants to get into hearing quickly and have a space to be heard before a judge quickly. I would also just say that as cases continue to grow and mature in the life cycle, that the business court's going to have even more chances to weigh in on Texas business law doctrines and sort of fashion doctrines around business torts, business affairs doctrines, commercial law doctrines that are just going to sort of add to the predictability and the solidity of our legal environment in Texas for businesses. And so I think that it's going to be exciting tracking those developments over the next few years.
Well, thank you so much, Jordan. I'm also interested to see how the business case law develops over the next few years. And as the business court continues to issue rulings, the Texas Business Court Insider will continue to issue articles and videos to keep our followers up to date on the Texas Business Court and on related legal developments. So to our viewers, thank you for watching this video, and please remember to like the video and subscribe so that you'll receive notices of when we post new videos on the Texas Business Court Insider.